me start then. So today I'm going to talk about current wars of AI and ML. Basically, I'm going to represent the current state of AI wars that we are going ahead, and some of the paradigm changes we are going to go through very recently. So without any further ado, let's dive in. Let me introduce myself. I'm Rifat Jahan Azad, and I'm from Bangladesh. I'm working in BrainStation 23 for about 6 years. BrainStation 23 is a service-based company, and I have been providing service there for a long time. And I lead the ML and data science team there. And here's my LinkedIn profile. If you are interested, you can knock me at any time. And I'm open for discussions that you want to like. Okay. So let's move on to our index that we are going to discuss today. So today, my discussions are a bit of theoretical, but I shall also share some of the resources that you can actually start your journey with AI and know what are the state of the arts right now, and you can tweak the algorithms from where. So the journey will be a hectic one. Let's start. So first of all, I will try to introduce concepts about consciousness. So what are conscious beings, and what makes us conscious, us the human beings as conscious, why we are so-called superior and can actually call ourselves intelligent. And we shall discuss about the self-awareness. Conscious means we are self-aware, and we can proceed for greater growth. And with this self-awareness, we have some cons as well. Sometimes we have some mental disorder, and we actually face hallucinations. And these are actually a part of consciousness. I shall explain to these things very soon. And there are some levels of intelligence, and I'm going to walk through all of them, like ANI, artificial narrow intelligence, AGI, artificial general intelligence, and ASI, artificial super intelligence, and what to expect from which level, and where we stand right now. And we are actually heading toward an intelligent war, and that is going to happen with the tech giants, as they have the most control over the data. So it's inevitable. So we have to embrace the reality and see what changes we might have to embrace with ourselves. So this will be the entire discussion within today. So let's dive in. So in my introduction part, I will try to describe about consciousness. So let's assume we, the humans, are the most superior of them all. So if we are superior of them all, then our intelligence can be compared with some other beings like the ant, the dog, and the chimpanzees. So let's start with the ants. We don't actually communicate with the ants. We are unable to communicate with the ants. But we can actually analyze their behaviors, and we know they have team behavior. They actually work. They actually live in a colony, and they search for food. And by pheromones, so they actually can follow each other. But there is a catch. If they lost their track, or somehow they lose their pheromone, the entire team will start circling around, just like this image, and till death they will be going to this circle forever, until some another pathway of pheromones are shown there. So this is their level of intelligence, and unfortunately we are unable to communicate with them. Now let's come to the dogs. Dogs are our household pets, and we often communicate with the dogs, and we can actually train them to do specific tasks that we are unable to do, like sniffing bombs on luggages that our dogs are very sophisticated on, and they are able to guard our homes, and we can actually pass time with them. They cannot actually talk with us, but through some gesture and sounds, they are able to express some sort of feelings, and we are able to understand them. And there comes the chimpanzees. With chimpanzees, actually we can uh, actually can act with them all these things, like we can train a chimpanzee. Chimpanzees have also the family bondings. They actually live more or less like us. They actually have attachment for one another. And as you can see on this right side example, the chimpanzee is actually playing a game. And this chimpanzee is not ordinary one. It's actually has a surgery, and it has a neural link connected. And uh, with only thought, he can actually play this game. I'm showing you on this lecture, on this video. So as you can see, this chimpanzee is playing a game, and there is a control that he is controlling. But within a few moments later, we shall see this joystick is unplugged. As you can see, this joystick is unplugged, but still he is playing the game, and he is able to play the game with only his thoughts. The thing is, with neural links, his brain cells are connected with thousands of electrodes, and that electrodes are actually intercepting the signals, and through interception and decoding the signals, he is able to actually control this game. In future, maybe this will be possible with the humans, especially for the crippled ones that are paralyzed ones that we are suffering from for a long time. We would be able to regain some of the controls of our body. And this is not the only study. Actually, with moth, beetles, and some insects, these sorry, this study is been done now for many years, and it's a very successful field in here. Uh, let me show you some of the examples. So in here you can see the moth muscles are being controlled by electrodes. We can actually show. We can actually control them, and we can actually control and control their flight pattern as well. Same goes for the beetle. These are actually different labs. On different labs, these kind of works are being done. The working process is kind of similar. From the electrode, their brain signal is being intercepted. They are decoded, and again, a different signal is sent back to them to control them. And there is another reverse study that we are actually building up insect-like robots that are very resilient, and on damaged areas, so we can send those insect robots, and using those insect robots, we can actually find out more survivors. This is something like this. Let me show you. So So as you can see, these are very cockroach-like small robots, and these robots are actually able to go through very narrow spaces and find out survivors, many survivors there. Then moving on, I think we have seen enough examples here. Let's discuss about self-awareness for greater good. What is self-awareness? As we are actually self-aware, we are actually superior than any other being. We can actually define our processes better than any other beings. We can actually make belief of things, and based on those beliefs, for a belief we can live on, and for a belief we can die for. Even if one person dies, and next in line can come up to that belief and uphold that belief, and can actually uh, uh, proceed with that one. The limitations of other animals is that they are sympathetic, that is fine, but there are certainly some limits, like for chimpanzees they can actually communicate and work properly, 10 20 number of them, they have a 20 number of family, and they can actually operate there perfectly. But when the number actually increases, like if their number increases to 100 or 1,000, they are actually unable to communicate and maintain a balanced life. But for humans, we can actually define process, and we can actually scale up our lives to infinity. We can actually define a structured pattern and pass it from generation to generations. So these are the things that makes us self-aware, and this self-awareness actually makes us superior than other beings. And for this superiority, we are actually searching for intelligence, and we are trying to replicate ourselves so that other intelligent beings can actually uh, take some of our workloads. So let's talk about the pioneers. There are, I'm discussing about only 3 pioneers, but there are more. But let's have a look at them. So I'm going to talk about Roger Penrose. He is a believer that consciousness is not only computational, but he believes that from physical laws, the consciousness will emerge. The meaning is that if we can study the physical laws of nature, we eventually will get to replicate consciousness. That is his belief, and there are a lot of work on his theoretical claims. Then there is Yeshua Bengio. We know that Jeffrey Hinton was the father of deep learning, and Yeshua Bengio also worked with him. And right now he is pushing the boundaries on the consciousness prior. So what he is claiming is that he is comparing human consciousness with machines and trying to replicate that thing. So what are the bare minimum things to claim a system as conscious? He's working on those things, and he has some remarkable work on those things. And lastly, there is Stuart Russell, who is a very well-known figure in AI, and he's been actively working with AI safety with the governments, so that the laws are passed ahead of time, so that intelligent beings doesn't take control over ourselves, and we get to have a better and safer life with intelligent machines. We all know Elon Musk is saying these things, but actively Stuart Russell is working on these things, and some laws and regulations are on its way with them. You can check their biography for more details. I think their work will inspire you guys, and choose a path where you want to actually move on. So let's move on to our flaws. Like I'm going to talk about the hallucination. So sorry. So I'm just going to show you an example of hallucination with Google's Deep Dream. So until this, we actually could imagine, but actually couldn't see what hallucination could look like. Google's Deep Dream can actually show us this hallucination can look like this bad, like dog images shown everywhere. So a patient that is been hallucinating will see something like this. So over-biased dog images will be everywhere, and he will be seeing dogs everywhere. So this is uncontrolled hallucination, and this is not expected. No one expects to actually have this kind of hallucination in their lifetime. But if this hallucination is done in a controlled manner, this can be an asset for us. We can actually improvise and generate new ideas from these kind of entanglements. So hallucination is not always a bad thing, but the way we are actually interpreting it or way we are able to actually use it. Now we can see with Midjourney and OpenAI's text to image solutions, we can actually from writing down text, we can actually have images. This is a breakthrough for us actually. So this was all about hallucination. Now let's move on to the different types of intelligence, like intelligence on ANI, artificial narrow intelligence. Most of the people in our country and abroad or in industrial solutions, we are working with basically the ANI, artificial narrow intelligence. So what we are doing is there is no sign of consciousness there. The intelligent systems are just barely intelligent, and what we are doing is here the problems that were not able to solve by statisticians alone, we are actually solving these problems so with deep learnings. So basics of statistics is there, but on top of that, on the data availability, we are actually controlling the weights, and based on that weight control, we are actually gaining our desired output, like face recognition. On face recognition, we are just putting a face image of a person, and on the end, we are actually getting identifier an ID of that person. So if the face matches, the ID is been provoked from there, and we know this person is person X or Y or someone else. So this is how face recognition is working. Same thing goes for speech to text recognition. So what we are doing is we are talking things out, and from our talking speeches, that speeches are converted to text, and those texts are actually being passed along to different solutions or systems to uh, get the results. Understanding speech is really hard, but with deep learning solutions, we are now able to do it. And in our industries, these kind of custom solutions are needed. Clients always wanted to have their personalized face recognition system. They are to fulfill their personalized needs. And for face recognition, we all have some textual from speech recognition. We also have some speech dialect problems, like in our local regions. So there are some local variations, and for local variations, so we need to fine tune the speech recognition algorithms, and based on those fine tuning, we can actually have a customized model that can actually better recognize our text, and we can actually spontaneously communicate with our existing systems. So to work on these models, there are some open source model repositories. Hugging Face is one of them. You guys can check it out. Later I shall show one of the demo of Hugging Face, but there are more communities you can actually can uh, have an understanding of them. Then from ANI, let's move on to AGI. So artificial general intelligence. So we are actually there. We means actually as humans are there, and we are now actually able to generate texts like humans, and this intelligence is something like we wanted to actually replicate ourselves, us like humans. It can be like I have read a whole book, and from after reading the whole book, I'm being able to answer some small questions. So, and I can actually inference some new ideas from there. So this is something we are now capable of. Now we all have heard about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is already there. It can write a code for us, and it can write text for us, summarize things for us. So it's a great thing for us. And this is possible for LLMs. LLMs stands for large language models. So the thing is, these are very large neural networks, and with billions of data and billions of parameter tuning, we are able to get this kind of result. So this is right now a very hectic process, But there are some open source alternatives, like I'm putting an example like a Bloom. Using Bloom is also an open source model. You can actually try this out, and I shall also share some of the examples how you can actually use these models. By using Bloom, you can also complete your sentences more or less everything ChatGPT can do. Bloom can also do, but Bloom is not there yet. They have much potential, but it's not actually there yet. But we can actually make it to do all the things that ChatGPT is able to do. Okay, then there are some other LLMs like T5 or there are code T5. So you can, using those models, you can actually write down your custom codes there, just like ChatGPT. So there are plenty of options there. I would suggest to explore those things and have an idea of different models, of what they are capable of and what they can help you on. So this was about the AGI, and now it comes to the ASI, artificial super intelligence. So with ASI, what we are expected is we are actually moving to the future. This we are not there yet. Humans haven't reached there yet, but they expect that a super intelligent being will guide human beings. So and it will uphold all the knowledge of human beings and all the knowledge human beings have to achieve in the future as well. So our science fiction characters can have these kind of capabilities, but right now these beings do not exist. So Sentinel and Skynet are some of the examples so that in future they might achieve these kind of capabilities. So this kind of intelligence is really we are afraid of, and we want to control these intelligent beings so that it do not cause any harm for us. So what's the difference between AGI and ASI? So AGI is basically human level intelligence. Artificial general intelligence is basically for human level intelligence. So we are actually trying to replicate ourselves first. And ASI is rational level intelligence. Rational level intelligence is something like we should do. We as humans should do to improve nature. The example can be something like this. I like to eat ice cream. So AGI will provide me an ice cream so that I can be happy. But ASI won't provide me ice cream, as in the long run, ice cream might cause cavity for my tooth. So it won't provide me ice cream. So it won't make me happy in short terms, but it will try to protect me in the long run. So maybe it can give me some vegetables and stuff like that. But I think we have got the idea here. If you have any question, please ask. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions. Then I'm moving on. So then the topic comes in that a war is lurking. So what is this war about? The war is with these intelligent systems. And to build up an intelligent system, we must need data. The more organized data we have, we are actually stepping ahead to build up intelligent systems. So data is the most important part for building up these kind of systems. And the second part is the algorithms. And the algorithm consists of basically DNA architecture and the weights. And these weights are actually coming from this data. So ultimately, we are actually talking about this 1 point data. So the more organized data we have, we are actually stepping ahead to building up better intelligent systems. So data is very important for us. And let's see our open and closed source solutions. Like if we see open and closed source solutions, in open source solutions, so we see actually there is a governance issue, and sometimes we lack the target of the solution, as many people collaborate, and there is no proper governance. Sometimes the open source projects goes to astray, but there are definitely better open source projects, but we have to be very careful about the open source projects governance part. And for closed source project or proprietary projects, the governance is there, and they are actually driven by the monetary values. So their goal is actually confirmed from the clients. So often the proprietary solutions are properly governed. So actually, this is a trade-off. So based on our need and necessity, we have to choose what type of solution we want to build on. Then uh, there is a common problem for all types of solution, like the data sorting is a big challenge for us. We have abundance of data, but these data are not actually properly formatted or properly organized to fit into our models. So we have to spend actually 80 to 90% time of our time to actually sort this kind of data, so that we can actually have a better have a better and grasp over the models that we are building on. So let's have a quick demo on our Hugging Face Bloom demo that I was talking about. It is said that Hugging Face is going to take over chat, maybe OpenAI one day, but this is, as we can see, this is not true right now, but it might happen in near future, as Hugging Face is open source and all the models are there. You can actually fine tune and work on them. Let's have the demo. So I shall share the presentation deck so that you can actually have you can try these things out. So this is the Hugging Face page, and from here I can actually make this bot to complete sentences like I have a dream, and if I submit it, it will complete the sentence. I have a dream that one day the nation will rise up, and as you can see, it's almost a complete sentence. And the more tokens I give them, it will provide me more longer sentences. Like I'm providing 64, it will give me a longer sentence. As you can see, it has provided a meaningful longer sentence. Okay, and there are some examples below. If I wanted to make it do some math, it can also do it. So these are the benefits of large language models, and using a model, we can actually be able to do multiple tasks with a single model. So check these things out, and this will help you to understand what kind of things are possible with today's realm and existing models. And there are many more models there. You can actually search for any kind of model like speech. Like you can see there are some speech recognition models, and you can actually try these models at your convenience. Then moving on. Now let's abstract a little bit. So let's try to dive into an chatbot that we are building, or the intelligent beings that we are building right now in what considering what type of perspective. So let's consider a human body, and we human body have many parts, but we know everything our in our body is controlled by the brain. So this is the intelligent part, the thing we are actually focusing on. All the chatbots and the things that we are building on, all the intelligent systems that we are building on are focusing on the brain part only. The other things like the hand, legs, other controls, other body parts, these are called actually actuators, and these actuators actually can be varied. These these things can be anything. Like for a defense robot, instead of hands, there can be a control guns or stuff like that. So actuators can be anything. It can be a grabber, or it can be any other kind of control, uh, like a soldering gun, uh, uh, or anything that we can think of. So any kind of device or any kind of controlling things that can be called as actuators, and we can actually attach these things to our brains or our bot systems in later on. Like in today's solutions, if I try to break down a bot-based solution, these are the common things that we see in a bot. In fact, ChatGPT and all the prompt-based solutions that we are seeing, ChatGPT, Midjourney, and stuff like that, all things are actually a combination of these kind of simple bots. Like these bot have some common things, like a channel. A channel is something where the prompt comes in, where I write down the messages. It can be a messenger, WhatsApp, SMS, or any custom console, whatever we can see. And we actually do a conversation flow. A conversation flow consists with some input and an output. So from channel, we are going to a conversation flow. A flow is basically uh, a flow of uh, actions. Like if A happens, then X action should take place. Something like this. And based on this flow, we are actually having some intent and transformers. Intent is just a classifier. It actually helps me to identify what kind of sentence I'm trying to say. Like I want to buy a computer, or I'm going to buy a pizza, or I'm going to uh, go to school. Commands like this. These are actually identifying intents or classifications. So I can ask for a computer in different ways, but the intent's job is to identify whether I am asking for a computer or not, stuff like that. So intent works like this way, and transformers are actually uh, processing my inputs to a specific ways of output. Like it can summarize a large number of texts, or it can actually answer some specific questions, stuff like that. So combining flows, intents, and transformers, we can actually build up intelligent bots. So ChatGPT and Bing bot are examples of this. Sorry. And last of all, if I can actually map everything to a flow, then at the end, everything comes to an action or actuators. I can just attach things to a bot flow. So if I ask my bot to actually control my home IoT devices lights, this action can be triggered within the flow. So this becomes a general if else condition management, as we all programmers have done these things from the very beginning. So actually we are simplifying a very complex problem in our life through these type of bots. And bot-based solutions are actually right now will be in heavy demand. And all the big players have their own set of bots. Like the Azure have cognitive services, cognitive bots are there. You can actually find all of these components in these cloud platforms. I haven't provided the links, but if you just search the term, you will get there. It's very common in these days. Google has a dialog flow. And as you can also see, they have another bot that is called Lambda. You can try them out as well. IBM has Watson. They all actually work more or less the same way. They have a flow. They have some classifiers, and they have some transformers. You can actually mix and match your business and the flow within their provided components, and you have a functioning intelligent bot, and you can actually run your business more or less automatically, or part of it automatically. So most common things to actually replicate right now is their service bots. All the service platforms are trying to actually trying to make their service problems automate so that a customer can call and get their services as soon as possible without waiting in line. And the customer can complain freely. They don't have to wait for numbers. Things are really changing, and I think all should look into these things. Today, I'm not demonstrating anything, but I think if you search these terms, you shall get a very good idea about what things are going ahead for. And lastly, there is the last part that I was going that we we will definitely go through some changes, whether AI becomes harmful for us or not. We will definitely face some changes, and we have to embrace these changes. Like previously, we had the industrial revolution, and during that revolution, actually, uh, most of the people go through a massive change, and more were jobless, and their humans actually define processes to actually generate more and more products. So processes were there, human labors were there, and human labors were gradually replaced by automated bots or automated machines, or at least part of them. Hybrid approaches is still there, and we actually are still going through this industrial revolution, and yet today we are going to face this kind of revolution, and our jobs will change eventually. Like our doctors will have now more options. Uh, uh, Today or within a few years, doctors won't be replaced, but doctors will be starting to use AI solutions. Like a doctor cannot think of all the symptoms of all the diseases of this world. Like there are 55,000 rare diseases. It's quite impossible to remember all of the symptoms for a doctor to diagnose the patient. We The doctors actually remember the most common diseases. It's a quite hard profession, but it's getting harder with this kind of AI solutions lurking around. So they will definitely use bots to get more a second opinion before taking his own judgment. For engineers, if they wanted to propose or estimate solutions, definitely they will take a help from the bots or AI solutions to cut their costs, or to see if there is any better options available. For lawyers, uh, lawyers can actually ask for relevant laws, but uh, the lawyers with the bot self, the lawyers cannot win a case, but they can definitely get some help from the bots. As we know, right now ChatGPT is able to answer or pass a law exam, and it have got a C plus. But we know we want to hire a C plus bot to win a case. It's quite difficult. So humans are not replaceable yet, but AI will be inevitably working alongside with humans. So we better embrace this kind of solutions and know what to do with them. Right now, a new kind of profession like prompt engineering is emerging. We should know what kind of prompt engineering can be done, and how we can actually benefit it from there. So this was all from my side actually. So this is my profile. Yeah, if you guys are interested, you can knock me on LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook. I am always available. Please drop by if you feel necessary. So
Thank you,
if you have
Rifat.
any question,
Thank you, Rifat. In the web winner page, we have some questions, and I have shared it into the chat window.
okay, thank you. So I'm reading it out. What will best platform among cloud-based or on-prem or developing AI-based solutions? Okay, so it's quite difficult actually, Karan, as you know, most of the cloud providers or the big giants provide more or less the similar kind of services. So based on the business need, actually you have to choose. Right now, for bot-based solutions, you can actually go for Azure, as they have actually exposed some of the OpenAI services there, and they have very resilient services right now. You can actually check those things out. And for open source platform, there is no hard and fast rule. You have to just explore and try things out. That is the only way. Then moving on to the next question: for doing AI-based solution, what I am to learn, Python or R? Actually, for AI-based solution, you can learn either Python or R. There is no hard and fast rule, but the Python community is more robust. So for being safe side, you can choose Python, I think. Then to the last question, can you please tell about the future opportunities of AI in the context of Bangladesh? Definitely, I already mentioned that in bot services, there a huge surge is going to come along. So specifically, Bengali bots are not there yet, and the library are not enriched here. You can definitely check that part out. So I think that is all from my side. Thank you.